know why this is happening. All right. I gotta go to the old camera. The new camera's not working. Part in the delays and part in the other show got canceled. I don't know. Maybe I'm not supposed to be live right now. But gotta reschedule the previous guest I had. Shout out to John High Octane, John Harvey from N1. But we'll get him in here sooner or later. Before this series is over, we're gonna talk about it. But big win last night. Knicks got game 1 in Boston. And I want to talk to you guys and figure out how we win game 2. So yeah, shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time. Appreciate you guys. Double D, I see you in the building. Corey Lee in the building. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Wonder Woman. As always, appreciate you. The comeback. Yeah, that's what the Knicks did. That's what the Knicks did last night. Had a hell of a comeback. 20-point deficit in the third quarter. And the talk around town, the talk with Celtics Nation and mainstream media is the Celtics gave that game away. It wasn't much credit to the Knicks. It was really about how did they shoot that many threes? How did they miss that many threes? They live and die by the three, which I believe is true, but I don't know why people are acting so surprised. I mean, that's what they've done all season. Live and die by the three. Mostly live. You got to have those type of games every once in a while. And if you're the other team, the Knicks, you got to capitalize. But we can't expect them to shoot or miss 45 out of 60 attempts moving forward. I wouldn't be surprised if they shoot 60 attempts again in the series, though. So how do we deal with that? Because I don't think they changed their mo. Shout out to JJ in the chat, appreciate you. But yeah, I don't think they changed their mo. The good thing is, like I said last night, is we didn't play well, and we still came away with the victory. So as much as everybody wants to talk about, you know, them not shooting the three ball well and shooting so many threes, we didn't play well. Brunson didn't have a great game, even though he was clutch in the fourth. You know what I mean? And Mikal didn't have a great shooting game. OG was great. Cat was in foul trouble, couldn't stay on the floor. So to me, those things, if we fix those things, Mikal comes out and has a good shooting performance. OG obviously continues to do what he's been doing. Brunson continue to do what he's doing. Cat, it's like I said last series, you got to stay on the floor. Foul trouble is his biggest enemy because even when he's not shooting well, his presence on the floor changes the game. But the best ability is availability, and you got to be available. JJ says, pissing me off. Nobody giving us credit. They're saying we only won because the Celtics missed threes. I agree. It's okay. Let's get game 2. We get game 2. They have to give us credit, and not for nothing. They haven't really given us credit all year. The narrative was we can't beat the good teams, and yeah, we didn't beat them. But yeah, that's just a narrative. I think we're better suited against Cleveland. So let's see if we could get to them. I think if we get past Boston, they're gonna have to give us our credit anyway. So let's earn it. Let's take it. JJ said Cat in foul trouble every damn game. Yeah. I didn't know he was third in the league in fouls. like, foul is called on him. That's a detriment. We got to fix that, man. We definitely got to fix that. Shout out to Andrew. He said the Pacers cut it down to 6 with 3 minutes to go. How much were they down by? I haven't even followed the game. I know Pacers won the first one. I expected Cleveland to win this one. If they could get two on Cleveland, kudos for them. They might win the series. Jay Will in the chat, salute. But yeah, I think those are the keys, man. Mikal has to have a good shooting performance. But shout out to him, man. 51 minutes. The narrative about the bench and him speaking up for the bench. And he did look tired out there. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to Sim too. We gonna link up later. Sim says he thinks he's built, for physique wise and for stamina wise to play those type of minutes. But I didn't say it last night, but I did notice he looked tired out there. You know what I mean? But shout out to him, man, because the big play at the end of the game, as tired as he was, whether he was or not, he made that big play. So that's you know what I mean? That's when it counts. And he's conditioned to fight through it, I guess. So Andrew said they was down by a lot. Shout out to Coach in the building. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm just talking with y'all right now. I had a show scheduled, but he had to cancel, so we were gonna reschedule it. Then I had some camera issues, so I'm back to the old camera. Might have to return this one or see what's going on. Read the manual. Who else we got in the building? Salute. Man, Mikal was everywhere defensively. Screw them picks. Hey, I think he's gonna be so much better next year, to be honest. Like right now he's just fitting in and filling the role. I think his role expands next year. I hope it comes within these playoffs, to be honest. But next year we're gonna see a better Mikal. I think that's kind of what's happened. Like if you look at the history of this regime and guys coming here, everybody's better their second year. You look at the impact Ihart had last year. Remember, that was his second year with the team. His impact was not the same his first year. I think it took him a full year to kind of figure out his exact role with this team. And in the meantime, it was really about effort and finding the little things he could do. Same thing with OG. Half a year. This year he's a lot more consistent. This year he's been a lot closer to what he was in the playoffs for us last year. So I think it just takes some time for guys to kind of figure out their full role. And in the meantime, you know what I mean? They just stick with it and get it together. Salute. Still Knicks fan Ron in the building. Appreciate you tuning in. What's good, family? Salute to the chat and salute to my brother Ron. Always tuning in, checking in. I like your walking and talking series that you've been doing. Great idea. You know what I mean? Get some exercise, get some scenery, some background. Appreciate you. Coach, what he said? That last play was a killer defensive team in. Oh yeah. The substitutions. Shout out to the coach. He's been doing it relatively since midway through the season. The offensive defensive substitutions. And I love it. That's something that I think Tibbs came to that's an adjustment you got to give him credit for, because he didn't do that his whole tenure here. With all honesty, Cat is getting clobbered last night, not getting any calls. That's a fact. It's crazy what the Cat do to the refs. They're totally not giving him any calls, and I think they're calling phantom fouls on him. I was talking with a coworker today who's a Knicks fan, and when we talk, that's the only time we talk if we're talking Knicks. So, but yeah, we were saying the same thing. They're calling phantom fouls on him. I think two of them were bogus. Definitely the Jason Tatum leaning in, which is supposed to be a focal point of the refs. You know what I mean? We got to fix that for sure. But I don't know. I don't know what he did to the refs. The one thing I will say is maybe just stop complaining. Maybe that's just because he does complain a lot. But I do think it's warranted. But obviously they're not listening to you, and they're not recognizing when you're getting fouled. So do another approach. Play harder and don't react. You know what I mean? Show that grittiness. That's what that's what we gotta embody anyway. That's how we beat the Celtics as well. I agree. Brunson and Hart do too. Complaining. It's a lot of us that do it. I mean, probably most of those two guys. OG, I think he was complaining a couple times last game, and to me, that's the difference. When a guy like OG's complaining, I think you're supposed to listen because he doesn't complain. You know what I mean? I seen him look back at the ref while the Celtics were on a free throw line, complaining about him not getting a foul called on a previous play. I think that was in the fourth quarter because I want to say that was in the midst of our comeback. But yeah, stop the complaining. You know what I mean? It's not helping. They're not recognizing it. I would like Cat to mix it up a lot more. You know what I mean? Like, I love the fact that he was dominating early in the paint. I think we need that from him. But at the same time, I think we need more 3-point attempts. We need more shot attempts from him. I think him and Brunson really need to have a more balanced 1-2 punch. I think we have to find his moments as much as we find Brunson's moments. And not for nothing, Brunson has a defined spot for this team last 5 minutes. That's his time anyway. So I think at some point we have to come up with a 5-minute stretch that can be Cat's. And in that stretch, he doesn't have to shoot all the time. I think he's a good enough passer. I was just going to mention this, Jay Will, the fact that they are doubling him. I think he needs to make some smarter reads, or I shouldn't say smarter. I meant to say quicker reads. I think he tends to let the double team come, even if it's slowly creeping, and he doesn't make the pass quick enough sometimes. And sometimes he doesn't make the pass. He still shoot over a double team. Again, I'm not complaining about those things. I want more shot attempts. I think we need him to be more dangerous at the three because he's the best 3-point shooter we have, and this team doesn't shoot a lot of them. So more balance, but more attempts. Definitely need a healthy balance of post-up fades and threes. I agree. Mix it up. Keep it balanced. Keep them off balance. You know, you make it easier for the opponent when they know what you're going to do. Other than Brunson, because they know what he's going to do and they just can't stop it. I love what we saw from the bench, right? Deuce finally started hitting some shots. This was the whole Detroit series. I don't think he had a shooting performance like he did last game, and I think he was only 3 for 6. You know what I mean? But 50%, 3 for 6, and knock down some shots. Defense was still solid. We need that. It's going to be interesting how much we can get from Mitchell Robinson. Obviously, the Hacker Robinson was detrimental in the first half. They only did it once in the second half. And I think Mitch had a good second half. He was in there a long stretch during that run with Cat on the bench with foul trouble. And I think he was tremendous. Can we get second half Mitch impact for a full game? Sim talked about them potentially saving the Hacker Mitch to the second half of the game as opposed to the first half. If KP doesn't play, that lessens the amount of bodies they have out there, so they may not use that strategy too much. Pardon me, my cat wilding, running back and forth. Yeah. See if I got any more comments I want to got here. I think I covered most of you guys' topic. Before I get out of here, anything y'all want to add or comment about? I'll give it a few seconds, few minutes, and I'm gonna hop out of here. Get ready for this losers lounge tonight. So put the notifications up for that. We got that getting locked and loaded up. Jason Benjamin, appreciate you. Shout out to you for super chat. I thought PA played Tatum well on defense, more minutes. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I thought I just Tibbs making that change of putting Precious in. I think it changed. Now, granted, he didn't play great, but it changed their defensive philosophy or whatever this defensive scheme. Obviously, their scheme of fouling Mitch was working. As soon as Precious came in the game, I forgot what the play was, but he did make an immediate impact. It might have been a defensive play on Tatum. Immediate impact, but his switchability, you know what I mean? I think he wasn't good offensively. Obviously, he hasn't played in probably 2 weeks, and when he last played, it was sparingly. But I agree, he's another guy that could guard Tatum. He's another guy you could put on Tatum. He's another guy you could put on Brown. He's another guy you could put on a big, and it just gives you more versatility and gives you more options to give guys rest. 5 minutes here, 3 minutes here. The only problem with Precious is it's a limitation because it's always going to be a choice between him and Mitch. They can't play together. Like that's too much non-shooting, too much non-offense. So that's the only dilemma. It's always going to be one or the other with those guys. And I think Tibbs does that with a lot of people. You know, it's always one or the other. I think it's one or the other with Brunson and Cam. You know what I mean? Like he has his guys that replaces this guy. He's only gonna go away from that if he's forced to, if it's because of an injury, if it's because of foul trouble. Need to see the same energy from Deuce and Cat. McCall bring some more offense and stay out of foul trouble. Yeah, I think if the keys for me is stay out of foul trouble, you know, a little more offense from McCall, a little more offense from Cat. I think Cat would have been fine if he wasn't in foul trouble. We got to keep guarding the three. Out of those 45 missed threes, I think 31 of them was uncontested. Or if that's not the stat, 31 of the second half threes were uncontested. So that's not good. And that also says to me that they will shoot better moving forward. But yeah, those are some of my keys. I might make Sims post game, or I should make the post game for sure. I might make the pre game. If I do, I'll give some more of my thoughts. But if not, I'll see y'all in the post game after we win two. I'm gonna say it again. If we win game two, if we win this game, we win the series. I'm gonna keep saying it. Shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate you. Shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to the whole MBK fan and the silent listeners. Appreciate y'all too. Oh wait. What is this? We got somebody popping up in the building. What up, Tim?
Peace.
Hey,
Good, man.
we give it a couple more minutes. Huh?
Yeah,
Appreciate you, all.
no problem. What's good with you, man?
Nothing, man. I had a show scheduled, had to reschedule it. Conflicting, things happen. Whatever
Yeah,
it is. But
yeah.
I figure I talk to the people, man. You know what I mean? I don't know how many people
That's who
was
wins it, right
waiting.
there.
Yeah,
Talking to people. That's who wins it.
that's
That's who
right.
gets
But yeah, I was just chopping it up with them, getting their thoughts on some things, get some
it.
updates on the the game going on right now, and talking about the keys or how can we win game two. I know you're gonna do a full in depth show, but what are some keys for you to winning game two?
Uh,
I mean, I don't expect them to miss 45
no,
threes.
they're not gonna miss 45 threes. They're not gonna miss 45 threes. Um, um, Rebounding is one, right? Being able to rebound the ball. We got out rebounded by 10 last night, 59 to 49. So rebounding the ball is a key to me. Um, Getting the 50-50 balls. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to be the scrappier team in this throughout the series. I don't know how much that's gonna, zap our energy, but we got to be the scrappier team. I think you know what I'm saying. They have a lot of talent, and who knows who's gonna play and all that kind of stuff. But I think we always got to be the scrappier team with them. So we got to continue to be scrappy. We're gonna have to offset their 3-point shooting with something. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Turn them over, right, and score off of turnovers.
Offensive
Uh,
rebounds, win the possession.
offensive rebounds. You know what I mean? We're not going to shoot as many threes as them. We shot 46% from the 3-point line last night. We took 37 threes. That's about the amount of threes we're going to shoot. We may not shoot 45%. You know what I'm saying? So we got to find other ways to do it. You know
That's
what I mean?
crazy.
So
They
we got to
missed more
offset
threes than we took.
3-point shooting. Say that again.
They missed more threes than we took.
And we took. You know what I
That's
mean?
crazy. And
Right.
37 is not a bad number. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I would like it 40, but that's close.
Right. So we've got to we got to find a way to offset that 3-point shooting because they're gonna make more threes this time. So we got to offset that shooting with something that gives us an advantage. What is it? I don't know. Um, but we got to offset it with something. I thought we did a good job covering the three. We made them shoot deep threes. We made them shoot threes with someone in their face. We made them shoot threes off the dribble. And we got to continue to do that. Make them shoot those type of threes. Force them. Let's see if they really want to put the ball on the floor and go to the basket. You know what I mean? They're live by the three, die by the three type of thing, type of team. Um, we if they're knocking down their threes, I don't know if we have to match it. We just got to find other ways to
Yeah.
score because I don't think we can be as prolific as them. If they're shooting 63s and they make 37% of them, you know what I mean? That's a lot. I don't know if we can be that prolific. We're not that style of team. So
Free throws as well.
free throws. If Cat can stay out of foul trouble, he was dominating in the post. Continue getting him the ball in the post. You know what I'm saying? And that could be something that offsets the threes. You
I was
know,
I was just telling the chat. I want Cat to shoot more threes. Like even if you look at his 3-point attempts for the season, I was hoping, I was hoping he would be at 8, and he wasn't close to 8. You know what I mean? I thought I was hoping 8 would be the minimum. Honestly, I was hoping for 10. You know, given if he had the shot attempts, but it was just funny. It's just funny to me that he doesn't take 8 attempts when Randall was here and he upped his to 8. You know what I mean? And he's
Right.
not the shooter that Cat is.
Right.
So I'm wondering again if this is something that will be a focal point or emphasized coming into next season. Because I also was talking about how I feel like Mikhail's going to be so much better next year. It usually takes players a year to kind of find a full stride under
Mm-hmm.
Tibbs. You know what I mean? You
Yep.
look at Hartenstein; it took him a full year, the second year to kind of really find his true role. And
Yeah.
they just make way. Guys just make way in that first year. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Do the little things, but their role increases as the time develops. But yeah, I want him to shoot more threes.
Yeah.
What's his attempts at? Like 4 point something, right? Per
Yeah.
game.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't think that's too low for uh, uh, a guy that shoots it at his clip and a guy that kind of he stands on the fact that he's the best shooting big man 3 point shooter. I mean,
Um.
I think KP shoots 8 to 10. You know what I mean? Like the guys that shoot it, they shoot it.
Right. I guess the tough thing is, who do they have guarding them? Like just looking at the roster construction that we have, it's a little bit easier sometimes for them to put a smaller guard on them that can get out there and get into a shooting motion sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always just a big person that's defending them out there at the 3 point line, which they might give him some space because he can go around them, and then it gives him a chance to, they might have like a Drew Holiday or someone like that guarding them who can get out there at the 3 point line. You know what I'm saying, and get up in them, so it's a little tougher for him to shoot it. If we
I,
want him to shoot threes, it's going to take more threes. It's going to take some scheming from Coach Tibbs.
I that's what I was just about to say. Like I was literally gonna say if what you're saying is true, my counter would be it has to be implemented, right? And even when you talk about some of the other shooting bigs, KP for example, I think those are design sets to get him those shots. You know what I mean? And I don't think we do that. You,
Now,
you know what I
a
mean?
lot of KPs is pick and pop, just an
Yeah,
easy pick and pop.
pick and pop, but there's also him on a weak side where they know, you know what I mean, like that's
Mhm.
where he's at. So basically they have counters to where it's set up for him to shoot the
Right.
three. You know what I mean? I don't think we kind of utilize that enough.
Yeah. The thing about with KP though is like that's 75% of his game or more. You know what I'm saying? So he's probably gonna always shoot more because you're not really putting him in the post at
That's
all.
true. That's true.
You know what I'm
I
saying? So
mean,
he's probably always gonna shoot more. But I wouldn't mind him, as long as he's doing some work in the post, I won't mind him shooting more threes.
and the only thing that I can think of why is maybe they really focus on the good ones and the bad ones. I talked about that shot he took in game 6 against the Pacers
Yeah.
that Tibbs, visibly yelled at him over that
Right.
deep three, and then he was passive the whole rest of the
Yeah.
game.
And then the one that he took last night, he only took one. That one wasn't really that good of a three.
So it may be trying to limit those as opposed to,
Yeah.
but he also hits them from that distance. So it's like
Hmm.
you gotta let it fly when
Yeah.
you're ready to let it fly.
The Pacers got the win, man. They're up 2-0. I mean, now Cleveland was severely
Thank
injured,
God.
severely banged up.
Yeah,
They definitely didn't play. Garland was out. Um, who else was out? DeAndre Hunter is out. Evan Mobley is out.
and
So for people in the chat, if anyone is here, for everyone who was, oh my God, our guys aren't going to be able to play in the playoffs because Tibbs is playing them too many minutes. Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. They don't play their guys so many minutes. They're going to be fresh and ready for the playoffs. Well, where are they? Three of their best players are not playing because they're hurt. So much for that narrative. And the Knicks right now, while, we got some injuries, everybody's playing. So much for that narrative.
I got this question I want to ask. So I don't remember what I was watching, but the gentleman referenced Cleveland's success and pinpointed it directly resulting in Mitchell taking a lesser role, like sacrificing some of his talent, not talent, sacrificing his scoring,
Mm-hmm.
so the team is more balanced and kind of raising the teammates, his supporting cast, giving them more responsibility. Um, and then he also said that's the same thing Jason Tatum did last year. Um, I just thought it was interesting because I do think I was saying that about Tatum last year. I thought he kind of was like, "Hey, I'll take over when we need to, but I don't got to score 30. You know what I mean? I don't got to score 35. I don't, you know what I mean?"
Right.
And then somebody else said, the Pacers' strategy is to make Donovan be the guy. So almost agreeing with the other guy's take. Granted, these are two different people. They weren't talking to each other. There's two different things I watch, but basically saying the same thing that the other guy said. Like when Donovan Mitchell is, when you make him the 30-point scorer, 40-point scorer, he doesn't win. When he shares the wealth and he
Right.
becomes like the closer,
Right.
that's when he's most dangerous. What's
Yeah.
your
I mean,
thoughts on it?
yeah, I would agree with that. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be, he's going to be fresher. He's getting his throughout the game. So, you know what I mean? He's still staying on point, still staying, remaining sharp. And then when it's time for him, to get his, he's got the energy to go ahead and get his. Now, you know, in a game like tonight, when so many guys are injured, he's got to do what he's got to do to try to win the basketball game. And they were up
Yeah,
20.
yeah, that's they gonna be talking about though. You said they blew a 20-point lead too.
Below a 20-point lead. But
Yeah,
they're down 0-2
yeah, man, and going to Indiana,
going
and
to Indiana.
I
Wow.
ain't gonna front. We played them last year. Ain't nothing like the Garden, but Indiana loud.
Yeah, no doubt.
Indiana got a fan base,
Yeah.
so they gonna feel that. They gonna feel
Yeah.
that energy. Shout out to John Smith. He said, Poor Pierce still disrespecting the Knicks. He said the Celtics in 6, and he's gonna show up to a game. I hope it's next game. Bring that bad juju.
Man, nobody think. All these Celtics fans are real salty. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Knicks fans are gonna do what they do, but these Celtics fans are real salty right now. You know what I'm saying? And if they would have won, they would have continued to blow us out. They would have been, they would have been all over the place. It's gonna be a sweep. It's this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Now, it is what it is.
Shout out to Craig, man. He said we should have been the 4th seed. Nah, man.
Where's Greg? Greg,
I,
did you hear what I said earlier? Did Greg hear what I said earlier? Please, Greg. I need Greg to hear what I said. Greg, all this talk all season long that the Knicks won't be healthy when the playoffs come because Tom Thibodeau is playing them too many minutes. Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're not playing their guys so many minutes. They're going to be fresh come playoff time. They're going to be ready to go. They're going to be healthy because their guys ain't playing minutes. We're not going to be able to execute in crunch time because we're going to be too tired. Well, the last two games, the Knicks executed in crunch time and won both of those two games. A closeout game and game one versus the Celtics. They executed.
51 minutes from Macau.
51 minutes from Macau. The Cleveland Cavaliers are down 0-2. And three of their major players are out. Three of them.
The point is injuries happen. But not about this fourth seed. I like the path. I like the tougher path. You know what I mean? It'll mean more. And even though last year with us all banged up and some guys did have an easier path playing banged up opponents, I rather the tough road. You know what I mean? It means more.
I feel you.
And it's less people can say about they had an easy road, easy path. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody to be able to say anything when we do what we're supposed to do.
Right.
Walter White in the building, long time. Appreciate you, brother. Where's BK? LA? It's good. But yeah, we're gonna get ready for this losers lounge. Probably about how long you think? 5-10 minutes?
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yep, I'm setting it up right now. So
check us out over there. Sim, appreciate you stopping in.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? And shout out to the chat again. This is the second outro, but appreciate y'all. Replay gang, silent watchers. All y'all. We out.
Peace.
Until next time, your blackest time.